Alright, again, we got the Crash of the Titans going on here. Will probably be the only recording I'm going to do this week here. Like I've been a little bit under the weather, but I want to at least get at least a Crash video done, and then I'll make up for that fact next week with the with the simulator. So that's what we'll do. But anyway, Thanos versus War Machine, I believe. Yeah, it is War Machine. Um, Thanos, as we can see, black, purple, and green user. Black doesn't really matter in a one-on-one fight, but if it was not a one-on-one fight, he would deal damage to the enemy team and to his team. More damage to the enemy team, obviously. Stuns everybody on the board with the exception of himself for 2 turns. And obviously that's going to be a passive. His purple ability, which is at 5, will have a pretty long countdown tile. I think it's like 4 turns. He does increased damage, and we can't create any tiles on the board. So what I mean is, like, we fire up War Machine's red, and then the next turn Thanos, activates his purple ability, we won't be able to get any of those attack tiles on the board. But the countdown tile itself will still remain on the board. Or if you try to use Gatling gun, we'll do the damage, but there won't be any tiles destroyed. And then finally, his green ability, which costs 12, come and get me. It's a 3-turn countdown tile that puts Thanos in front, but again, this is a one-on-one fight, so again, it doesn't really matter. But he does a small amount of damage to the enemy team, but since it's a one-on-one, it's going to be dealt all the way to War Machine. And of course, his affiliation is villains. War Machine, on the other hand, we know he got a rework. His colors are still more or less the same. His red ability cost 8, if I'm not mistaken, because it used to be 9, but it's 8. It creates a red fortified countdown tile at level 5 that has about a 35% chance of having attack tiles on the board, like, each time whenever a match is made and tiles drop down on the board on War Machine's turn, of course. His blue ability costs 10, used to be 11, destroys all invisibility tiles, and then does damage to the target. Also gotta mention with his red ability, as when that countdown tile reaches 0, it'll do damage to the target. And then finally, his green ability, Gatling gun, costs 8. Destroys two random tiles and adjacent tiles that are in those in the vicinity around the tiles that's in the middle. I mean the tiles that were randomly selected. And of course, it does damage, you don't gain AP, all that good stuff. His affiliation is Heroes, Team Iron Man, Avengers, and I think that's it. For lesser equipped War Machines, what you want to do, you want to make sure that Thanos doesn't fire off his purple and he doesn't fire off his green. And the reason being, the extra damage from Thanos' purple and then the green, if it's in a not as easily matched location, that's going to cause you a little bit of trouble. But you want to focus on red and you want to focus on blue. again, boost up all your team ups and all that there, and go from there. Or I should say your AP. And again, remember Thanos' strongest color happens to be black, so if you can deny if you can deny purple or deny green and deny green, that's positive in your books. And I know it really should be shutting up right about now with the one-on-one portion of the fight, but yeah, this is probably gonna end right now in maybe 2 turns, 3 turns, because he's about to match green. Okay, now the fight's over with. If they could all be so simple, both Crash of the Titans and fights in PvE and PvP, we'd be, going pretty well. There's my reward here, and whoops, I hit the wrong thing. I meant roster. We always take a look at the characters real quick, see who to pair them up with, and then we'll call it quits on the vid. Now, where is my war machine at? There it is. All right, war machine also feeds Iron Man Mark 46, which again makes sense in both the comic books and the movies, because War Machine was a former user of the Iron Man costume. The War Machine costume itself was made by Tony Stark when Stark was no longer Iron Man, and he eventually gave it to Rhodey, not only as a sign of the friendship, but he could it fit Rhodey's personality, so to speak. All right, so again, all of his powers, they're okay. Even when he got the rework, the Gatling gun kind of doesn't work with certain characters anymore, specifically 4-star Captain Marvel, because these here were pretty cheap countdown tiles, and then once you got aerial assault and Gatling gun activated, you could do some tile buffing with Carol, but alas, you really can't do that there now. I mean, you still could do it with Carol, but I want the aerial assault tiles or aerial assault countdown tile to last all 5 turns. Let's see here. I wouldn't pair him up with Coulson, because again, you want one of those countdown tiles to last on the board. But again, pairing War Machine with Carol, again, that's obvious synergy there. You could do Drax the Destroyer with the whole, the destruction. I mean, well, when the countdown tower reaches 0, deal an additional amount of damage. I mean, that's an option, but realistically, you really wouldn't want to do that there. But yeah, only person you're really gonna the only person that I paired War Machine up with in the past is with Captain Marvel, because of the tile buffing and whatnot. So that will do it on this video here. I'm trying to think I had another day and some hours, and the next crash will be with Wasp. So I'll either have have that on Saturday or have it on Sunday. I don't know. But I do know that we got Rhino up in the game, so we'll be taking a look at him, hopefully. And I have nothing else to say.